Good day everyone. I am Renzi Torres, a Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in Social Studies. Today, I will discuss to you my assigned topic, the part 3 of curriculum evaluation, which is the evaluation models. But before we proceed and focus to my final discussion, let me read to you first my learning objectives. So here's my learning objectives. K. Explain the four major curriculum evaluation models, Tyler, CIPP, Stakes Responsive, and Kirkpatrick, by citing their principles, strength, and limitations. S. Analyze a given educational scenario and recommend the most appropriate evaluation model, providing justification for their choice. And A. Show appreciation for the importance of curriculum evaluation by contributing at least one constructive insight on how evaluation model can improve teaching and learning practices. First, what is curriculum evaluation? Curriculum evaluation refers to the process of systematically assessing the effectiveness and quality of curriculum. So it means that curriculum evaluation means checking if a curriculum, the lessons, activities, and assessments used in teaching is working well or not. It's likely reviewing a plan to see if it helps students to learn effectively. This process can use numbers like tests, scores, or opinions, like feedback from teachers and students. Different people can take part in the evaluation: teachers, students, school leaders, or even outside experts. The main goal is not just to see how much students are learning, but also to find ways to improve the lessons, teaching methods, and activities so that education becomes better for everyone. The next one is evaluation models. Evaluation models serve as structured frameworks that guide educators, administrators, and policymakers in assessing the effectiveness of a curriculum. Evaluation models are like guides or blueprints that help teachers, school leaders, and policymakers check if a curriculum is really effective. They show the parts of the curriculum should be evaluated, like goals, content, teaching methods, or student results, and how to evaluate them using tests, feedback, or observations. Since a curriculum is not just a list of subjects but also includes objectives, teaching styles, activities, and expected outcomes, we need a clear and organized way to study it. That's where evaluation models come in. They make sure everything in the curriculum is working together to meet the goals of education. Here are some evaluation models in curriculum evaluation. First is Tyler's objective-centered model. Second, Staplebeam's CIPP model, context, input, process, and product. Third is Stakes Responsive model and the Kirkpatrick model. So the first is Tyler's objective-based evaluation, one of the earliest and most well-known models of curriculum evaluation is Tyler model, developed by Ralph Tyler in the 1940s. The objective-centered model, Tyler 1949, means that a curriculum should start with clear goals to know if the curriculum is successful. We simply check if students have reached those goals. Now, Tyler's objective model: objectives, content, method, and evaluation. Objectives set the goal of the program based on the school's philosophy. Content: choose lessons or topics that will help students reach the goals. Method: plan how to teach and present the lessons. Evaluation: check if students have achieved the goals. So here is the limitation of Tyler's model. The Tyler's model is often criticized for being too focused on measurable outcomes, overlooking important aspects of learning, such as emotional and social development. It can also be too rigid, as it emphasizes predetermined objectives and leaves little room for unexpected learning. Additionally, it assumes a one-size-fits-all approach, which may not suit to the diverse needs of students in different classrooms. The next one is the CIPP model developed by Daniel Staplebeam in 1970s, stand for context, input, process, and product. This model highlights the importance of using evaluation not just to judge a curriculum but to improve it. It provides ongoing feedback at every stage, making it more focused on continuous improvements rather than just final results. So, for context evaluation is the goals, for input is the plans, and for the process is the actions, and for the product is the outcomes. The CIPP model supports continuous curriculum improvement by evaluating all stages from planning to implementation. While comprehensive, it can be complex and resource heavy to apply, Staplebeam and Corin 2014. The third model is the Countenance Model or Responsive by Robert Stake, 1975, focuses on the real experiences of teachers, students, parents, and administrators instead of just preset objectives. It values what actually happens in the classroom. Here's a step-by-step checklist for Stake's responsive model. Meet the stakeholders, gather their views, needs, and goals. Set the scope, decide what parts of the curriculum to evaluate. Observe implementation. Watch how the curriculum is really carried out. Clarify purposes. Identify the true goals of the program and who it serves. Identify problems, spot issues, and decide what data is needed. Choose methods. Select tools to collecting informations. Collect data. Carry out informations on gathering process. Organize result. Group findings into clear themes. Report findings. Share results with stakeholders in the best format. One limitation of Stake's model is that it can be time-consuming and is sometimes seen as less systematic compared to structured models like Tyler's or Staplebeam's CIPP. However, it remains highly valuable in situations where stakeholders' perspective and qualitative insights are crucial for improving the curriculum. And the fourth and the last one is the Kirkpatrick model. The Kirkpatrick model, developed by Dr. Donald Kirkpatrick in 1950s, is one of the most well-known models for evaluating training and educational programs. It helps assess how students respond to the curriculum, what they actually learn, and how the learning impacts their long-term behavior and outcome. Kirkpatrick's model has 4 levels of evaluation. First is reaction, second is learning, third is behavior, and fourth is results. Kirkpatrick's model is the most widely used method for assessing training in businesses today, built around 4 levels of evaluation for over 30 years. Many organizations have relied on it as the main system for training evaluations. Its long-term use shows how Kirkpatrick's vision for greatly influence and improve the practices of training evaluation. In conclusion, choosing a curriculum evaluation model should fit the needs of and context of the school. Understanding each model's strength and limitation helps educators make better decisions for effective teaching and learning. Teachers Institute 2014. That would be all. Thank you.